Hey, everybody. So, welcome to Black Coffee, Honey, and Grits. Listen, ladies, we are the Black Coffee. Our lips drip with honey, and sometimes we have a little bit of grit, sass, class, and all that as. Welcome, gentlemen, as well. This is Black Coffee, Honey, and Grits. My name is Jamaica Anderson. I am your mental alchemist. I'm passing it over to you.
Hi, my name is Maisha, known online as Devi Maisha, and I am the Sensual Energy Alchemist and teacher of sensuality. And my business, Sensual Energy Alchemy, guides Black women over 40 into their sensual confidence so they can show up bold and powerful in life, business, and love. Tossing the microphone to you, Carmel.
Thank you. Hello, I'm Carmel Jean-Francois, owner, founder, CEO of C Fit Coaching, working with individuals who have come to realize that they have a food and sugar addiction, and I assist them in adapting a whole food, plant-based lifestyle in order to combat that addiction, as well as any health-related chronic conditions that come along with it. And I'm here to encourage everybody to add more plants to your plate. And passing it over to you, Shelly.
Okie dokie. I am Shelley A. Carter out of New Jersey, CEO and founder of Housing Ministry LLC. In that space, I use my real estate banking and life insurance licenses to make home ownership attainable and sustainable. And just for fun, I love talking about monetizing that real estate as well. Passing the mic over.
I'm Dr. Jamesia, the nurse practitioner extraordinaire. I'm also your intermittent fasting and mindset coach, YouTube influencer, speaker, author, all the things. And I'm one fifth of Black Coffee, Honey, and Grits.
All right, you guys. So, listen, we have been talking about non-negotiables. And honey, one of the main things that we really realized and we learned is that it all starts with you. Okay. Usually something comes to a head and we have some issues or some, problems that arise and we realize, oh, life is not going the way that we want it to go. And then we start to figure out, like, hey, what do we need to do? What type of accountability do we need for ourselves? What type of boundaries we need? All the other things. But one of the factors that come into play is your relationship with other people. Because when you start changing and start shifting, sometimes some people aren't really into that. They don't want to meet the new you. And sometimes, it helps you build new relationships with other people because, you start to find your tribe. You start to find people who actually vibrate on the same levels that you vibrate with. And it's just a lot within your world that starts to shift. So our question that we posed was, what are your non-negotiables in relationships? And of course, it could be friendships, platonic, it could be romantic, it could be on the job. But for you, what are your non-negotiables? And so I'll give a little go, y'all. So when I started when I started to get on the good foot, like the old people say, uh I ruffled a couple of feathers. Cause I was the child that got along to get along and was the people pleaser and everybody, namaste, look, kumbaya, come to Jesus. And then it just got to a point where like, hey, y'all told me if I go to college, I should come out with a good job. I should be doing X, Y, and Z. And honey, life was not life in the way that I felt that it should have been life in. And I remember having this conversation with my dad, and I was like, I just want to be me. I'm tired of being Jamaica over here with you. You get a version. Jamaica over here with mama and mama get a version. And then Jamaica that be out here at college who, you know, she a whole different version. You know what I'm saying? But I had that little conversation with him and I was like, what you get is what you get. Look, what you see is what you get, and what you get is what you get. It's all me, buddy. And honey, he wasn't trying to have it. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. He was not here for it. He was like, I remember I cussed one time, and I wasn't even cussing at him. It was just a little cuss word. I was like, I don't know who the hell they was talking to. There was one of them. He was like, he clutched his pearls on me. Like, he was like, you cuss like that, at your job? And I was like, yeah, if they say the wrong thing, I sure do. He was like, I don't think you cuss like that. I was like, I actually cussed my boss out because they came at me wrong. You cuss like that at church? I was like, and I cussed out the pastor because he came at me wrong. Yes. He's like, I know you don't talk to your grandmama like that. And I was like, honey, Mia, if you be around me and my grandmama for real, you'll be a little shocked, honey. Shock and shooketh, like the people say. You know. So I want to know what y'all is. This my non-negotiable is that I just have to show up as me. Like I can't make no excuses for it. I might say a little excuse me every now and again. But if you can't get down with the real me, then we got to move on. So what's some of y'all non-negotiables in y'all relationships?
Lying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have to think about the rest of it, but lying, I'm done. That's not that. There's no coming back from that.
Mm-hmm. You have to
I
be.
don't care. I don't care. Yeah, I don't care what you lied about. I didn't say cheating is not, because people think cheating. No, lying.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Yeah, you have to be trustworthy. So
Look,
yeah,
I can agree with you on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have to think about the rest.
You know, my grandmother used to say back in the day, my grandma used to say, she was like, there's two things I hate, is a liar and a thief. But you know which one I hate the worst? A liar. Because a thief, I know they're going to steal. And I was like, that's something that always stood beside me, you know, is back in the back that just be speaking. And so when you said that, I'm like, you're right. Because I've been in a relationship, and as soon as you catch them in a lie, and especially me, I'm one of them people, I'm going to ask you about 50 different questions. They're going to be the same question, just reiterated differently, because I just need you to really be honest. I want to make sure you got your story together. And, you know, and I'm going to be as calm as I don't know what. Now, I might be boiling hot inside, but on the outside, I'm going to be real calm. I'm going to be like, you sure?
Yep.
That actually happened with me and one of my exes that was supposed to be my fiance. I was like, you know, you said you went to the party. Was it a nice party? How many people were there? Really? Did you dance? You know, like I had all these questions. And then after I was like, you know what? You don't even have to lie to me anymore. Because I mean, he gave me a bomb story. But then really forgot that he had butt dialed me. And I heard him on a little date with another little girl, and they had their little best little time, honey. And it was around my birthday. And I was just like, did he really go on a date with somebody else on, you know, around my birthday? And okay, look, this how oh, okay. But that line thing, as soon as it happened, it's like you can't come back from it. Now I can't trust nothing else you say, nothing you do. Nope. What about y'all? What's y'all?
And that by the way, that goes across the board. That's not just for relationships. That's for friends, family, children, everybody. Everybody can get cut if you lie.
So for me, you know, there are some things. I mean, I really, relationships, meaning somebody I'm dealing with, you know, non-platonically. I definitely want them to have a belief in God. I want that. Or I don't think we can connect in that way. They have to be trustworthy, as y'all said. We got to be able to communicate. And when we communicate, if it's not exactly the way I want it to go, we can still come back and communicate some more about it. I have to be able to communicate. You got to be, you have to care about your community. You got to care about Black folk. You got to care about the community you live in. You have to care about something other than yourself, something outside of yourself. So those things, y'all know I like people to vote, so I don't have to keep saying that. But those are some of the things, and you have to be fiscally responsible. You got to want to, you know, you got to be goal oriented, stuff like that. So, yeah.
Yeah. So when we had that conversation about
so
in
when
the
you say
bedroom, some of those things.
What does that mean for me? For my person?
Go ahead, Tamara.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm so confused. What's happening?
Jamaica was asking Jay a question.
Oh, okay, finish. I guess finish right off the heels of what Dr. J was saying.
No, I was just basically when I say that, I mean like not ducking the IRS, not ducking your bills, not trying to get over on people, not stuff like that. Be responsible, pay your bills, do what you're supposed to do on on
Mm,
time. You know that. That's what I mean.
Well, I have to
yeah.
ask because sometimes people, when nowadays, now people feel like you got to have like $1 million saved in the bank.
Oh no
You
no
got to,
no.
like people have like these standards when it comes to when you say fitness, when you talk about money, like people be like, you got to have money, you got to be able to do this. You know what I'm saying? We got to be able
Mhm.
to travel. You got to be able to save X, Y, and Z. I don't want you need to have at least 3 bank accounts. So that's why I asked, like, what does that look like for you? Because it can vary across the board now when it comes
Mhm.
to that money.
That is true. I don't know that I would want you to work at McDonald's per se.
Right. You can't work. That's a non-negotiable.
I
You
mean,
can't
I
be
want you
working
to
at
have a little
McDonald's
bit,
or
just
Pizza
a
Hut.
tiny bit,
For so many reasons.
maybe mailman or something. I don't know, but
Oh man, that brings me back to the idea of that the bus driver and I would date a bus driver, like, but so what you were just saying, Dr. J, like, you could, there's certain jobs that are very respectable, and you know what, let me just see how the type of person that you are. But if you're that bus driver who is not fiscally responsible, no, it's a no. But I was thinking, when we had that conversation about the non-negotiables in the bedroom, a lot of that translates. And I wanted to bring up, he has to be, or anybody in a relationship. If I detect violence in any way, shape, or form, I remember we were still, I want to say in college, maybe about to graduate college, and a group of us, we met a couple of we were in the dojo, and we were meeting people and things like that, and there's this one guy who joined the dojo, and he was a good fighter, and he wanted to go to the military, he wanted to go to the army. And when we asked him, like, why, what was this passion, he says, I want to kill someone.
oh,
And yeah, and there was something there that did not sit well. I could no longer associate myself with him. No matter what he had been through, it was just scary for me. I just did not know how to speak to him after that. So that was a non-negotiable. If I detect some type of violence in another human being, and I ended up sometime after, maybe before, during, I don't remember, around the same time, meeting somebody that showed a violent streak to him, and I was able to detect it before it got too bad, and I was able to break up with him. So that's a non-negotiable. I cannot sense or detect any type of violent streak in you. It cannot go on, be it a friend, male, female, whoever. Like, no, I disassociate myself, colleague, whoever. Yeah, that's a big one for me.
Wow. Okay. Well, I guess I need to come in. I got a long list. I got disrespect, commonality, trauma dumping, being stagnant, and being a toxic narcissist. I like it's just like I have friends who are uber active, but the way we interact, I don't have those interactions with them. I get invited over so we could talk about the tea, and I don't drink tea like that. I'm not interested in that kind of conversation, or when we're talking, there's no progress in the conversation. Everything is gossip. Everything is, I don't know, if you're full, the content that you own is talking about other people and talking about all your bad days, but you don't never have any good days. You can't ever call me to tell me about your wins, or when if you do call me about a win, it's just so that you can kind of say, okay, look, I'm hanging in there, with you. You got a thing, so I just want to show you I got the thing too. Like, I'm not in a race. I'm really happy you got something, but don't just come. You haven't seen me in weeks or months, but you got a new shiny toy, and now you've got to bring the new shiny toy. you know, I'm not interested in hearing, about an asset. I just want to know, did you have a good day? How's work going? What did you do that was fun? And, I've had to back off of some of those people. And the stagnation is, I'm trying to go someplace, and I've said it before, being around people who are actually offended by your drive. You're trying to go do something and become something that's only about you, and these people are actually offended. If I realize that my becoming my better self, or my dream version of myself, if that's upsetting you, oh, that's a huge, huge tell. And like, okay, thank you for letting me know. And I've said it to a couple of people who have had all kinds of comments about my absence and me withdrawing. And you guys have heard me say it before. I'm not punishing anyone. I'm just moving on. If who I am makes you uncomfortable, if you're not comfortable with the fact that you can't dump on me, use me, call me, and have me on demand, um, use me instead of using your resources. People, people who only call you, hey, can I borrow your truck? I i'll travel in time and say, once upon a time I went to the dealer for a luxury vehicle and came home with a minivan, and I got beat up on by people, and I mean, like, hurt my feelings over my choice of the minivan, which was one of the best choices that a young real estate professional, a developer, could use. You can't throw, toilets and, sheetrock on the back of a coupe. A two-seater is not supposed to have sheetrock and toilets in it. So the dealer gave me a good choice, and after all of that beating up, they're like, so can I borrow your van? Can you come pick up? So and so's coming in from the airport. Can you go pick everybody up? You've got the vehicle that'll fit everybody. Oh, you were beating me up a minute ago and telling me I wasn't living up to standard, but now you see a purpose for me. I am no longer here. And Maisha had said struggled with using it before. Like, utilize. If you want to strategize and we want to make optimal use of all of our resources, we're good. But if you just want to have me in your back pocket so you can use me when you want to use me and use me up, and then when you're done with me, you throw me to the side empty, you borrow my car and bring it back on E, no, just no. So, I'm not here for you to shit on. You have to love me. And then finally, it's those fair weather friends, people who love you when everything is shiny and pretty. And then when you're going through something, and I say open, I've been going through some stuff. And when you come out and all of a sudden you're back in a shiny position because you finally got your act together and you put yourself where you are, and then all of a sudden those people want to come, hey girl, what you doing? When we going out? We who? Who's we? I don't know we. You mean, you saw me out with my girls and you want to know when you're never. I'm not inviting you out with my girls. My girls were there when I was just me, when I was at the bottom, when I was just redesigning myself, and you were nowhere to be found. So no, you're not invited. And that's it. That's all. I know that's a lot. I might sound mean, but it is what it is.
Well, you know your non-negotiables. So
That's right. That's right.
Right.
Is
I don't think it's mean at all, and it's necessary, really. Like, well,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
like even when you were talking about like fair weather friends, I think about it as like those people who've been manipulative. Like, I'm like, I already got to work through my own manipulation stuff, like, becoming aware of the different things just by being raised a certain way. You get what I'm saying? Like, back in the day, they used to be like, well, how do you think that made me feel? And how da. And it's like your feelings are invalid because now I got to take in consideration yours. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like learning through a lot of things and being and interacting with family again, because sometimes you pull yourself away from certain people in order to figure out what your non-negotiables are, in order to figure out how you can kind of relax your system, right? Because sometimes we be stressed out and don't even know we stressed out because that's our norm, right? And definitely for me, look,
Yeah.
that the last year I've realized how stressed I was, how I was so used to it. Like that was my norm that I didn't understand that I really was messing with my body. You know what I'm saying?
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And then getting connected again to certain family members who, and it's just like, if I can't use you, I don't need you. You know what I'm saying? Or
Yeah.
like what you said, they talk trash about what you're doing and then turn around and ask you, oh, well, can you do this for me? And can you do it for free? And can you, all these other things. It's like,
Wait.
weren't you just the
Say
one
that
who
one
told me
again.
I wasn't good enough to do? It's crazy. Um, but
No,
I
I'm
think
I'm gonna jump
some of
back
my
in
non-negotiables
because
that I was thinking of too
oh, sorry.
is I need people.
We have a delay. I'm not going to interrupt. You keep going.
No, go ahead. Look, because my system is jumping. But go ahead. What you saying? Jump in.
Well, I wanted to park on the for free because people ask us as friends and family for things that they otherwise have to pay for. And if I'm not charging you, at bare minimum, give gratitude. And out of responsibility, sometimes if it costs me money to get to you, you may not have to pay me for my full service, but now I want gratitude and maybe gas money. I
Yeah.
want consideration. And I have been witnessed witnessing things, and there's just one particular incident where I used to do something for someone, and because I've always been that work on my own time person, when you're self-employed, people treat you a particular way, and when you manage your time, they treat you a particular way. But me collectively seeing me serve an elder, no one in the family was trying to say, oh, well, Shelly's running all over the place. Let's send her some gas money. But then all of a sudden, another family member had to step in because I wasn't available. And then guess who they disrupted to go deliver gas money to her? And I'm saying, now, wait a minute. You people ain't never offered me a dime of gas money. And now you actually want me to spend my gas to come collect money from all of y'all to go bring her money. That didn't, and never to this day made no sense to me. And I tell it because I've seen that scenario because there's only so many stories. There's there's all these peer groups and friend groups, the family groups, business groups. You pick a person and you, whoever that person is, they're undervalued. And then when they're gone and you have to actually pay for or find out how valuable they were, because it may not always be money, but you find out how valuable they are. That's the place where I don't want revenge. I just want you to learn, because I don't feel like I need to have a conversation. People have said to me in recent times, well, you should just call and talk to them. No, I don't see any value in that. I feel like they will soon, or they have now realized the role and the benefit that I was bringing to the table. And that to me is the best gift for them versus me stirring my spirit and giving energy to more negativity over something that I can just let go and grow from. That's it.
No, I feel on that. And even when you're talking about the gas thing, I laugh because I have someone calls me, well, who did call me, and they were like, oh, can you take me here, there, and everywhere? And I'm like, let's say, can you take me Walmart and then to Publix, but not the Publix that's beside Walmart. I need you to take me to the Publix that's an extra 20, 30 minutes away. You get what I'm saying? And then it's like, well, I need gas money because I'm not working currently. So I can't just willy-nilly take you all over the place like I would before for free. And then they're like, well, how much you gonna charge me? Well, that Walmart, I mean, that Publix is way, 20, 30 minutes away. It's 5 o'clock. So yeah, it's gonna probably be a minimum of $20. And they don't want to cuss you out because it's like, oh my gosh, how could you charge me that much? And it's like, honey, I'm not even charging you for my time and barely charging for gas because gas is almost $4. Like this ain't cheap, honey. Look, and look at the type, like what you say. Look at the I have an SUV. We got to balance it out. Now, if you got your car, I can take your car and drive you wherever you need to go. You know, so it's so interesting when you talk about that, and just people having to realize what it is that you actually bring to the table. And I even said that when my aunt was helping me with my grandmother, the other siblings, they were just like, well, that's your mom, so you should be able to do X, Y, and Z. And I was like, no, I feel like we can pay her for her time because she's actually given up a large majority of her day. And I was like, and if anybody else had to do it, you would still have to pay for that. You get what I'm saying? Pay for the service. But I was like, now, what we're not going to do is we're not going to you and you use up all her food stamp and you do, you know what I'm saying? All these other things. Like it got to be a balance. And like what we say, there's there's those non-negotiables. We're not going to do paying you, X, Y, and Z, and then you turn around and you are in her bank account trying to get money, or talk her into buying you stuff, and turn around and you use up all her food stamp to buy your kids food. Like all of that stuff is not gonna. Now you're taking advantage of the situation. And so what I was gonna say, some of my non-negotiables in relationships. One is like being self-aware. I need people who are self-aware and are accountable for themselves, who's responsible, because I am for me. I got you got to have emotional intelligence, because sometimes we can get upset and we can be mad and whatever else, but to be able to have a conversation about it, to be able to say, okay, I don't want to talk about it right now. Let's talk about it a little bit later, or let's X, Y, and Z, and actually come back around to it and have those conversations in the dialogue. I think that that's necessary. And like Aisha was saying in one of our other chats, personal development, that's a negotiable. And friendships, relationships, whatever else, you got to be trying to do, a betterment for yourself, as well as communicating. Like if we got to be able to communicate. I don't know about y'all, but communication is very big over here. Um, and I love a charitable giver. I like those type of things too. So and we want to talk about a date. I mean, you could be my friend and give to me too. You know what I'm saying? But I want somebody who like
Generosity, baby.
Well, I like reciprocation.
Listening to you and Shelly, it sounds like, and I may be off, but it sounds like a non-negotiable. And when you wrap it and tie it all up, is that you want to be treated as if you're valuable, as if you bring value to the relationship, and not and not just discard it. So that's what it sounds like.
Man, I told you guys, I'm here. I done left my business. I left my home, which meant I left my husband, and I left my comfort zone. Imagine moving from Harlem or Queens to Wichita. It's night and day. Y'all been here. You can't walk anywhere here. And after making all of those changes, being told, and I know we're in a public forum. It's okay. I'm dealing with a 70-plus-year-old woman, and my mother's take was, "Hey, you didn't come here for me. This wasn't for me. You're not doing anything for me." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Thank you for letting me know. I thought I had shifted my life around to accommodate you. Now I know the truth." And that's another thing, which is understanding who your audience is, who the person is that's going through it. You have to account for that. But these are still things that happen at different layers. It's, talking to an aged person, talking to your sister, talking to your best friend, it doesn't matter who it is. You want to be appreciated and you want a reciprocal relationship.
I
And
think that's probably I think that's probably one of my non-negotiables. I fully believe in the statement, when people show you who they are, believe them. So if I don't spend time trying to hang on, convince anybody. I don't argue with people. I None of that. If it looks like the relationship is not reciprocal,
Mhm.
whether you are a relative, a friend, a lover, you don't have to ease on down the road. You can stay right where you are. I'm gonna ease on down the road. I like People are like, I need them to just go ahead and leave. No, you go ahead and leave, because you want them to stay and change for you. If I have to make you change for me, then it's that's a no. So if there's anyone who was ever in my life who was like that, they are not here now. If anyone tried to come in, I smell it quickly, and I don't collect people, and so I don't have a problem with, if it feels like I know what I'm gonna give, I know what I'm gonna do. If
Mhm.
other people aren't gonna do it, I really just don't. I really don't engage with them, and that's. I mean, I love people in my family, but no,
Mhm.
it's just no. We'll see about that.
Well, it sounds
So,
like. What about you,
All right,
Carmel?
then. Look,
uh, non-negotiables for me, I tend to think like more on the things that I want, right? The non-negotiable, I need somebody in my space to be open, to be positive, to be optimistic and patient and willing to learn, and I'm willing to communicate, right? I Those are my non-negotiables. Like, if I have all of those things, the things that I want, the things that I don't want will fall by the wayside. Like, those people won't even enter my space, I feel. So like, I feel like we harped a lot on the things that I just will not take in my relationship. And
Mhm.
that's a part of it. But I was in the midst of all of that. I'm like, yeah, that, oh yeah, that too. But in the midst of it, I wanted to just bring out some of the better aspects or attributes to people that they would bring to the table, these things that I would expect. And a lot of the things that the things that we expect and we didn't mention is because we expect them, right? So when Maisha said lies, like, I won't take lies, I was just like, well, that's a given, but it's really not, right?
Mhm.
But just like to be open and honest and willing to communicate and willing to try new things and willing to be patient. Those things for me are some of the things, like, oh, but that goes without saying. Nope, nope, you got to say it. And so those are my non-negotiables.
Yep, you have to say it. You got to talk about it. You got to ask about it. And
Mhm.
there are people who assume that because you're dating someone, you're dating the only one, and they'd be like, are you seeing someone? And to them, no, I'm not seeing someone. Are you seeing anyone who might be upset that you're seeing me?
Mhm.
Mm.
yeah,
Right?
Mhm.
Let's get real extra clear here on that. So yeah, even to have somebody who's a great communicator and wants to do all those things, especially when it comes to men, these are questions I will literally ask. Like, what is your communication style? What do you do when you get angry? I ask these questions. I need to know what your character is like. I make no assumptions, because we're all different people and we all come from different backgrounds. And anyone's threshold, friend, lover, even family, because just because you're relatives don't mean that you're the same. Everybody's threshold is different, and no matter who
Mhm.
you are, I need to know that our thresholds can mesh.
Yeah.
Otherwise we can't. you know
Mhm.
And I like that you mentioned that, Maisha, because when I meet someone, again, be it a romantic person or somebody on a platonic level, and the second I want to know, how are you with your mom? Like, what's that relationship with your siblings? and with your friends. Who are your best friends? Who are the people that you hang out with? Do you hang out with folks? Like,
That's
do you
right.
have a group of friends? Because if you don't have a group of friends, there might be an issue there. So those are things that I want to know too. And some non-negotiables is that you have to have somebody close in your life, somebody that you can depend on and rely on, somebody that's close to you, or your whoever it is that you consider a good friend. Because if not, that tells me a lot about the person. It's very, very telling. And
Yeah.
not to mention the fact that I come from a family that's very close, and I have people in my family people in my life that I consider valuable besides my family. So that's that part too.
You know what I want to throw in there is just also feeling safe when you're around other people. I want to feel safe with each of you, but if I'm around there, if I'm with my spouse's family, if I'm around you guys and I'm around your family, and someone comes at me sideways, are you going to protect me if I deserve it? If I'm wrong, I expect to be held to that. But if
Uh-oh. No
She's
sound,
going
Shelly.
silent.
It
sorry,
may too.
if we have a difference of opinion, and we all know we've talked about that, walking in the room and someone just decides they don't like you, or your cousin is contrary, are you going to shield me from your cousin, or am I going to be victimized? And like, this is not a good visit to your house, or to the event that we're all at. i
Mm-hmm.
i really feel like I want and even need that, because I'm here, you invited me here, I'm with you, control your people,
Mm-hmm.
stand up for me to your people, or pull me to the side and say, Shelly, you were really, because I would expect you to do that. Shelly, you were a little out of pocket, I need you to go apologize there. And if it's the other way, I need that to go back. But I know I've also been around people that I got to throw that into safety. I've been
Mm-hmm.
around people where like you get around people who just think I'm a little bit too bougie and don't deserve to be in the ghetto spaces, and it's like foolish. I'm trying to control my words, but whatever. Like, I'm from the ghetto. I'm sorry, I sound a little Becky-ish, but I'm from the hood, like the whole hood. Cops and cameras, all of that. Don't sit here and treat me like that. And
Right.
I can't help my addiction, and then you as my friend are letting people come at me sideways. I'm not feeling that. Like, that might be the last time we interact, period.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
And I like that what you were talking about, Shelly, like being able to really communicate, like correct, have that moment of correction. And I like what Maisha was saying too, where it's like, um, what was the thing that you said? Because when you said, I was like, yes, girl, I'm catching a blank. Um, but look, oh well, look, throw it to the wind at this point. But anyhow, both of you guys were kind of talking about stuff. I was thinking about relationships and just ultimately being able to really communicate with a person on anger. That's what you were talking about. If you're angry, how do you respond or what do you do? But being able to understand how I personally respond to certain things. And like I'm one of those people who not only do I want to know and I want you to tell me about it, but also tell me when can we have that conversation? Because sometimes when you're angry, I may not be able to speak to you right then, right there. Or even me personally, if I'm angry, I'm gonna be like, hey, give me some time to cool down so we can talk about this later. Like, I don't want to talk about it right now. I know that I'm a person that I'll be like everything. You know what I'm saying? Like everything go, and then I'm 10 toes down on because the crab in me has decided, look, we standing on business at this point. So sometimes I know I'm one of those people that's like, give me some time to calm down and come back to it so I can be level headed in order for me to be able to hear and communicate with everybody. And so I like that too, like even when we having that discussion, so I can say, hey, you said when you get angry, this is usually what you do. And so, do you want to wait? Do you want to, like I told you guys, you got to be able to communicate and have that emotional intelligence. Do you want to wait? Do you want to talk about it now? Like, how can we, X, Y, and Z? Hey, you said you got on this way and that ain't what you did, like you did a little extra blow up and I ain't used to seeing you that way. But I think those things are important in relationships. Cause we, like what you were saying, we got to be able to address certain situations, it's time and place. Because sometimes when if you blowing up in front of people, I might not be able to say nothing right then and there. But when we move a little further, you cool down, we get in the car. 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5. You all right? Look, you all right? You got it together? Can we kind of talk about it? Because you kind of owe her an apology. Because sometimes you don't want to hear that, oh, I owe you an apology thing either. You know what I'm saying? But are you one of those people who can take? That's why I think that taking responsibility too, and going back and being accountable for your actions and your reactions, all those things are important. But did y'all have anything else you wanted to add? Look, before we get up out of here, anybody?
No, I'm good. Hearts and mind is clear over here.
I feel like I said more than enough.
Yeah, I think we're good. We're good.
It's funny.
All right. Well, look, my system over here keep loading and reloading.
Yeah.
Say it, Kelly.
Your system is loading and reloading. Yes, it is.
So are we doing outros or are we just saying goodbye?
Look, I apologize, y'all. It's the weather.
It's okay.
Okay.
Last time we just said bye because we did our intros. Did we do intros? We did our intros.
We did intros.
Look, I was just, yeah.
This was a good conversation, y'all. We'll see y'all next
tell
time.
us what y'all negotiables are.
And what else you want to talk about?
Bye, y'all.